48,000 policemen deployed at over 300 roadblocks nationwide. Emergency makes it easier for government to amend regulations. Hello and good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. You're watching Updates at Noon with me, Mohammed Amin Karanos. Well, with the proclamation of emergency and the implementation of the Movement Control Order, or MCO, the police have activated over 300 roadblocks throughout the country. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Bador said over 48,000 policemen have been deployed to man the roadblocks, which will remain active throughout the MCO. Explaining further, Tan Sri Abdul Hamid said the roadblocks are mounted to control the interstate and inter-districts movement, adding that he is prepared to add another 12,000 personnel for that purpose. He also said that all police personnel nationwide have had their leave temporarily frozen effectively until further notice. In the same development, the IGP also reminded the public to obtain permission from the police before travelling, despite the government allowing special leeway to those with plane and bus ticket scheduled for later this week.
Terdapat ramai keluarga yang berada di luar kawasan rumah mereka. Mereka mungkin berada di negeri lain untuk bercuti ataupun membuat lawatan kunjungan kepada saudara mara. Mungkin mereka terperangkap esok. Ini termasuk juga mereka yang telah menempah tiket penerbangan. Mereka nak pergi ke airport untuk menaiki kapal terbang untuk balik ke mana, wilayah untuk ke Sabah, ke Sarawak ke ataupun dari sana ke Semenanjung pun kita benarkan.
Senior Minister for Security, Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, explained that the proclamation of emergency would allow the government to amend laws faster through the issuing of ordinances. Well, he said this is especially crucial as he cited the example of giving the power to arrest illegal immigrants, which is under the police, to army personnel.
Di bawah ordinance yang baru, yang di bawah dulu yang Maha Mulia yang Pertuan Agong boleh memberikan kuasa kepada anggota Angkatan Tentera Malaysia yang berada di kawasan sepadan, yang mengawal kawasan sepadan untuk ops benteng, melakukan tangkapan seperti yang dilakukan oleh pihak polis.
According to the senior minister, the maximum amount of 1,000 ringgit fine or compound could also be increased under the emergency ordinance. Meanwhile, Malaysians living in areas under the Movement Control Order are reminded to just stay at home and only go out of their houses with valid reasons.
Dari segi mendapat perkhidmatan penjagaan kesihatan, memang kita benarkan maksimum 3 orang termasuk pesakit kita benarkan, dan radius tidak melebihi 10 km dari kediaman, kecuali tidak ada tempat ataupun klinik atau hospital di dalam kawasan kurang daripada 10 km tersebut.
With the implementation of MCO, almost all social activities, as well as those in which physical distancing is difficult to maintain, are not allowed. This included celebrations such as weddings and engagements, receptions, birthday celebrations, and others. Sport and recreational activities were also not allowed during the MCO, but some flexibility was given for leisure activities, including jogging and cycling, limited to only 2 people in a group. Meanwhile, for economic activities, night markets, bazaars, barbers, salons, spas, and reflexology centres, as well as nightclubs, were not allowed to operate under the order. The proclamation of emergency by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong is a much-needed act to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the country. Constitutional expert Professor Dr. Syam Rahayu Abdul Aziz said the rakyat must understand this, as it could stabilize the situation in the country in terms of law, security and economy.
Darurat itu boleh menjadi senjata yang baik untuk kita menangani COVID dan juga boleh menjadi faktor yang baik untuk kita mengelak monopoli dari segi ekonomi, dan juga mungkin boleh menjadi faktor yang baik apabila keadaan stabil dan juga mengajak pelaburan asing untuk negara kita. Yang kita boleh pastikan darurat ini bertujuan untuk menstabilkan keadaan, mengembalikan kemakmuran dan memastikan kesihatan awam terjamin. Kita perlu lebih tegas sebagai individu, lebih tegas mematuhi undang-undang yang ada dan sentiasa memastikan kedaulatan undang-undang itu kita patuhi.
Well, media organizations can continue to produce informative programs, news, articles and local content for the public in areas imposed with the 14-day MCO. However, Communications and Multimedia Minister Dato' Saifuddin Abdullah in a statement said during the period, media operations in the form of other broadcasts such as entertainment are not allowed. Well, Dato' Saifuddin said for states under the Conditional Movement Control Order, CMCO, and the Recovery Movement Control Order, RMCO, the media operations can continue according to the set standard operating procedures or SOPs. And according to the minister, media personnel who are among the country's frontliners during this difficult situation are reminded to continue to comply with the SOPs that have been set while carrying out their duties. In the meantime, Dato' Saifuddin said further details on SOPs with regard to the communications sector, including telecommunications and internet, broadcasting, as well as postal and courier, can be accessed on the ministry's website. Well, Senior Minister for Education Dr. Radzi Jilin said there is no need to screen teachers who will be returning to schools upon the start of the new school term. However, he said all teachers must observe the SOPs outlined by the Education Ministry.
Pertama sekali adalah berkaitan dengan guru-guru untuk diadakan swab test ini. Ini adalah berkaitan dengan kapasiti kesihatan ataupun kapasiti sistem kesihatan yang ada. InsyaAllah dengan SOP yang kita laksanakan, kita yakin sekiranya semua pihak mematuhi SOP, kita dapat mengurangkan risiko jangkitan di sekolah dan kita akan dapat pastikan supaya pelaksanaan pengajaran dan pembelajaran itu berlangsung dalam keadaan selamat untuk murid-murid.
The senior minister added that teachers who have health problems or at high risk could meet with the school management to arrange for online learning sessions. Well, as the number of active COVID-19 cases reached the 30,000 mark, another 11 clusters were reported yesterday. And according to Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, this takes the total number of active clusters to 261, with 77 clusters reporting an increase in cases yesterday, when Malaysia registered the highest number of new daily infections with 3,309 cases. Well, Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham explained that this includes the 11 new clusters discovered yesterday, which includes 2 in Selangor with a total of 127 infections, 4 in Kuala Lumpur with 60 cases, 1 in Sarawak with 21 cases, 2 in Kelantan with 53 cases, 1 in Putrajaya with 10 cases, and 1 in Terengganu with 8 cases. He also reported another 8 clusters have been declared inactive as of yesterday. On another note, the Health DG also urged an appeal to all Malaysians to stay at home during the implementation of the MCO. In a Twitter post, he said, as we battle the third wave of the deadly pandemic with bullish trend of infections, people should be refrained from holding or attending any social gatherings and other non-essential outdoor activities. Well, on home ground, the national football team will have to wait a little longer to start training for the second round of the 2022 World Cup 2023 Asian Cup qualifiers scheduled for March, following the cancellation of this month's centralized training camp. So the Football Association of Malaysia, FAM's president, Dato' Hamidin Muhammad Amin, said the cancellation was due to the enforcement of the 14-day movement control order, the MCO, in 6 states, effective today.
Kita prihatin dan kita perlu akur dengan apa yang telah diputuskan oleh kerajaan kerana kesihatan ini pun mustahak. Di samping itu, di pihak MFL dan FM Sekretariat akan melihat dari segi pertandingan untuk melakukan beberapa option atau pilihan jika perkara ini berterusan. Dia punya kesusahan dia banyak. Kita dah tengok perkara tersebut. Memang kita tengok polis dengan Sarawak, tapi untuk mobile dan team everything tu semua dengan latihan tu semua dengan SOP dia memang agak ketat dan bukan senang. Kalau
National head coach Tan Cheng Ho was supposed to conduct the team's first training session since November 2019 from 15th to the 26th of January. Malaysia will take on the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, in Dubai on 25th March before meeting Vietnam on 30th March in the second round of qualifiers. Dato' Hamidin, who is also the Malaysian Football League MFL president, announced that all professional footballing activities nationwide would be suspended for 2 weeks until 26th January. Dato' Hamidin, however, stressed that FAM and MFL would need to be more prepared and several options to ensure the 2021 season of the Malaysia League, the M League, will take place. In a separate development, FAM Secretary General Stuart Ramalingam confirmed that the national under-19 squad would represent the country at the 2021 SEA Games in Vietnam before being turned into a project squad for the 2023 edition in Cambodia.
Skuad bawah 19 Malaysia akan menyertai kejohanan SEA Games di Vietnam tahun 2021 dan juga akan menjadi skuad projek atau development national team ke arah Cambodia 2023. Skuad bawah 19 kebangsaan juga akan dijadikan skuad didikan kepada AFC Under 22 yang akan dilangsungkan tahun ini dan juga World Cup Olympic Qualifier 2024 di Paris.
The National Sports Council, MSN, is ready to conduct quarantine-based training in accordance with stricter standard operating procedures or SOPs, including the scheduling of training times following the implementation of MCO in 6 states, effective today. NSC Athletes Division Director Jeffrey Ngandirin said they would adopt the training SOP like the one used for the Road to Tokyo RTT quarantine-based training program that was implemented in June last year before it was eased in October. The Youth and Sports Ministry, KBS, said the full-time centralized training centres where national athletes are currently undergoing training at several venues around the Klang Valley and in Nilai, Negeri Sembilan, would continue using the quarantine-based approach. The affected training venues are the MSN Complex in Bukit Jalil, MSN Complex in Taman Keramat, Academy Badminton Malaysia in Bukit Kiara, Paralympic Centre of Excellence in Kampung Pandan, and National Velodrome in Nilai. Jeffrey said athletes involved in the Sepak Takraw League, SCL, had reported for duty at Bukit Jalil yesterday, with every one of them having to undergo a COVID-19 swab test. The MSN had previously confirmed that 7 athletes and 6 officials tested positive for COVID-19 after returning to training camp following the Christmas and New Year holidays on 3rd January. Well, that concludes today's edition of Updates at Noon. Well, folks, our top story: emergency will aid government promulgate ordinances to battle COVID-19 effectively. Well, tune in to our news item called News at 10 tonight at 10 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM on My Freeviews channel 123, or you could also stream the news by surfing RTM's My Click. Thanks for watching, folks. I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. Do stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant afternoon ahead.